I'm trying my hardest to put out one video review a day, and this video I had been wanting to review for a long time, and organizing my extensive media, I finally found my copy of this movie, which I had to buy new because there was no used copies to be had at the local video store. This particular movie is called The Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, and it came out in 2014, starring Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, with supporting role from Bill Paxton and a couple of other people that I do not remember off the top of my head. But I did take notes, and my notes went deep, all from the Wikipedia, so if you don't want to watch my review, you could be reading about it yourself on Wikipedia, but if you don't want to read it, you can hear me talk about it. So I saw this movie in theaters in 2014, and I loved it then, and I equally loved it now watching it again with my three boys. It is rated PG-13, and it has a 113-minute runtime, and it is thoroughly enjoyable. It's not too terrifying. I watched it with children between the ages of 5 and 9, and they were not horrified. I would never watch Alien, the original Alien, with them, but this movie I felt was pretty tame for kids. So this movie was adapted from a Japanese novel from the early 2000s. The movie was almost named after the novel, and that novel is called All You Need Is Kill, kind of like a play on All You Need Is Love, the Beatles song. And it was written by this guy, Hiroshi Sakurazaka. I'm probably butchering the pronouncement of that. But they bought the rights for like $3 million, and then they started writing the script. This film was directed by Doug Liman, and 6 months before it was set to be filmed, they had to rewrite almost the entire script because he didn't really like it. And then there was like conflicting endings and how they wanted it to be versus what they thought would go over well, just kind of like how they felt like All You Need Is Kill wouldn't go over well with audiences. Then they changed it to The Edge of Tomorrow, and I guess Live, Die, Repeat was the tagline from the advertising, but it kind of goes by the two titles. I remember the ad campaign because I was working in Los Angeles at the time, and the billboards and bus advertisements were everywhere for this film, all over LA and Orange County. And that is because Warner Brothers spent $100 million on advertising this film, and it had a worldwide release. The total budget for the movie, including the advertising, was $178 million. And that paid off because they made $370 million at the box office. Now, the Doug Liman director, I didn't know too much about him. Notable movie that he directed that kind of propelled him to fame was this 90s comedy starring Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn called Swingers. And then I guess he directed the original Bourne movie in 2002, Jason Bourne, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And interestingly, very interesting for me, he also co-founded, when he was at Brown University, the National Association of College Broadcasters. That is a huge deal. But anyway, that's kind of case in point to the film. So he was the one that was directing this film, and they had 9 companies working on the visual effects for this movie. And it was filmed in England, all on the studios, and it kind of parallels 1944 D-Day invasion at the beach of the Normandy, except for there are these aliens that have taken over Europe called mimics that kind of look like pseudo robots. They look like they are metallic worm-like creatures, but they're aliens. And then they have this mother alien that is at an undisclosed location, and it's kind of like if you kill the main Omega alien that they call that, you kill them all. So the Cruise character, on his introduction into combat, they're wearing these huge 85-pound mechanically operated body armor suits that took the studio 30 minutes to put on initially, and then they got it down to 30 seconds. But anyway, that's like for the filming of the movie, right? Lots of blue screens, lots of CGI. Bill Paxton, like I mentioned, he plays the gunnery sergeant. And it's basically like the Harold Ramis film Groundhog's Day, you just see him exposed to this alien blood and this special alien that kind of led the charge, and then he lives the same day again and again and again until they figure out how to beat this alien invasion. And I liked the film very much. Him and Emily Blunt worked well together. To me, this is the type of movies that were made for Tom Cruise. He just did so well with the Top Gun Maverick movie over the summer. He kind of excels at these action-packed movies. I'm looking forward to the new Mission Impossible film. So people liked it. I would say it's a sci-fi classic. I like time travel movies. It has that element, and I liked that whole premise of the Groundhog's Day kind of again and again and again thing. There was another movie that was recently on Netflix that I can't remember the name, about this boy and girl in high school, and they're reliving the same day over and over again. But anyway, I am going to go straight into my review now. I am 5 out of 5 on this picture. And I was when it came out, and I still am now, almost 10 years later. And I am 91%, Rotten Tomatoes is 9, sorry, I'm having seasonal allergies again. Rotten Tomatoes is 91%, Google is 80%, Google users, and IMDb is 7.9 out of 10. But I just thought it was a great movie. I think it holds up well. I really enjoyed it, and my kids really enjoyed it as well. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. And the ending is just, they kind of call it a comedy / action film, because there are like dark comedy inside of the film as well. But check it out. I would say maybe it was bad judgment to let my kids 9 and under watch it, but the profanity wasn't really that intense, and the action is not that, the violence to me wasn't like horrifying. I feel like this was made for a broader audience. So, and again, $100 million budget to advertise. Until next time, we will see you then.